This is 89.3 FM WRFG. You're tuned into the Kalakuta show where music is our weapon of the future. Just giving you a nice little taste of Miss Princess LaTremenda in the studio with us today talking about the EP Odara. How are you today?
I'm awesome today. Today's a very good day.
It's always good to, see beautiful faces in the studio, especially chopping it up about music.
Yeah.
Now, tell the WRFG family a little bit about yourself, how you, got on, how you, came into making such beautiful Brazilian sounding music. I mean, I like to call it just global music, period,
Yeah.
because, I don't want to, put you in a box, but, I mean, your sound is soul signature. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
Oh, okay. Well, my name is Princess LaTremenda. I actually got started in music by singing with different bands. I was the wedding singer for a little while. I also did some Latin groups doing salsa music, and I just always gravitated things in other languages. So I knew when I wanted to do my project that I wanted to incorporate my interests, which are language and mixing cultures and things like that. So for me, it was just a natural progression. It was like once I started doing stuff in Spanish professionally, it was like, okay, this is what I want to do, because I'd done like the R&B circuit, the soul, and that was cool, but it was nothing ever grabbed my attention. I guess because that's what I grew up with. It was nothing different, So for me, it was just like, there's so many people who want this more than I do. I want to do something that really represents me. And so, I just used my language capabilities, being fluent in Spanish and Portuguese, and just tried to create a project that was really representative of me, as opposed to something that would sell to a certain market. Later on, if I want to go in one direction or another, that's okay. But for right now, this first project is very important for me to represent myself the best I can. And I think I did a good job. You've heard a little bit of the new project, but I have a lot more music that I have recorded and that I'm still recording. I'll actually be going back to Brazil later this year to finish the album. So it's good. I mean, I'm proud of myself. I'm humble and all, but when you work really hard and you get what you want, it's like, I did that.
Exactly. Now, given that you worked so many different types of circuits, what has been your major influence? Was it from your travels, or was it just, just falling in love with the music?
Well, I always moved around as a kid, so I've always been around different cultures, and as a child I liked it. It was always interesting to me as a black person in America to find out how black people in other places lived, or were there black people in other places, because in the United States they don't really advertise that, like, oh, it's not just you guys, they're everywhere. So fortunately I went to good schools, and we had exchange students in our schools from Brazil, from Germany, and all. And the first thing I would always ask them, are there black people there? And I mean, they would look at me like, are you crazy? There's like a lot of black people. And I would be like, really? So as a child, it just kind of opened me up to want to know about the world and want to know about how black people lived in other places. So once I got old enough and I started, growing into my personality, of course, I love salsa as a passion of mine, and I started getting into Afro-Latin music. It just amazed me how much influence blacks have had in the world, people, Afro-descendants have in the world with music. And for me, when I do music in Spanish or in Portuguese, I don't feel like I'm an American doing Brazilian music. I feel like I'm a black person doing black people's music, and not to separate from anybody, but I just feel so proud of the influence that people like me have had in the world, that I really want to bring that together and explore it and let other people know that, oh, I'm not just doing Latin music, I'm doing black music, you know, whether it's black pop or black this or that. I mean, this comes from people that looks like me and you. So that's what my initial interest was, and it continues to be that. I don't know if I'm talking too much, but
no.
I get so excited. I get so excited.
It is on point. See, because the biggest thing is that, you know, people get into music because, you know, say their parents, you know, played music for them, and it became one of those things where they just, you know, got influenced by it. Some of them, you know, were playing instruments from an early age, and then some, you know, from their travels, they were just heavily influenced by, you know, cultural settings. So what and who are some of your influences before we get into this next track?
Oh my goodness. Leela Downs, Mark Anthony, Susanna Baca, Djavan, Gilberto Gil, Buica. Oh, I love her. Did I say Mark Anthony? Because I really love his production and everything. Let's see, I love Shaka Khan. I love Aretha. I love soul artists, Faith Evans. I have such a melange of people that influence me, and that I respect their careers. And Angelique Kidjo, can't leave her out.
Definitely not.
You know, I would love to have a career like Angelique Kidjo. I mean, the stuff that she does, not only in her music, but socially, that's what I aspire to. You know, it's cool to be like J-Lo and make tons of money, but I really want to have music that people will continue to listen to and respect, and, you know, hopefully it'll interest them to learn more about me and where I'm coming from.
Right.
So those are some of my influences.
Right. Now we've come upon the Odara EP.
Oh, yeah.
You know, tell us a little bit about what that means, because I know, you know, on my, I guess you can call it definition book in my mind, you know, it always represented goodness. You know, it always represented the good side of things.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how you came up with this title, and then we're going to get into the track, Manjingera.
Okay. Well, Odara, of course, you know, it's an African word, and it does mean from good, from beauty. It doesn't have a literal translation that I found, but pretty much it means anything from good, that's beautiful, from love, you know, I like to say. In Brazil, it's used a lot to describe something that's of beauty, of love. It's really permeated the Brazilian culture. And that song in particular is my dedication to Brazil, because Brazil has always been a big influence. I could have writer's block for a year. I go to Brazil for 2 months and I'm back on track. So I really wanted to dedicate something to Brazil and let them know how much I respect that culture and how much I feel that culture every day in my heart. I mean, I feel Brazilian, like, so that is a dedication to Brazil.
There it is.
And yeah, you could go ahead.
Yeah,
I was going to say something.
We're going to go ahead and drop into that track, Manjingera, as we are at the top of the 3 o'clock hour. This is WRFG Atlanta. Let's break some brand new music for you, as we always do, right here on the Kalakuta Show, where music is our weapon of the future. This is WRFG, your station for progressive information and handpicked music.